Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, what am I doing out here in the middle of this field in the middle of the night? Well, we are doing some beekeeping. I put down these skeps a long time ago and pretty much forgot about them. Now, one of those has now filled up and populated, so I'm going to go ahead and pick it back up and we are going to set up our initial bee farm. So, with no further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so this is my first time trying to gather these, and I think, yeah, I have an empty space here, so I think I can just pick them up. Now, that was pretty easy. You know, while we're here, we might as well grab up this horsetail. So, I think the thing that we can do here is maybe go ahead and see if the other one is full. That's over here. And I put that on the tree. Yeah, it looks like that's empty. It did not fill up yet. I'm guessing it's just too far away from that hive. So what we might do here is go ahead and see if we can't pick that up. And it looks like we can. And let's go ahead and put this over here where the other one is instead. And maybe eventually that will fill up for us. Now, I don't know if that's going to fill up any faster here necessarily than the one that we've already got. Where does it go to place? Right here? Let's put it right there. Okay, so hopefully that will fill up as well. Now we can head back to our home base and start making a whole bunch more of these skeps for our bee farm. Now on the way home here, we are also picking up every flower we can see. So this is for two reasons. One, we need these so that we can continue to grow our little field of bees. They're going to want flowers to spread. But also, I just think they look pretty, and I think it's going to make our house look real nice if we start adding some flowers to decorate. So we're going to do both of those things at once. Okay, so I've cleared us off a nice area to work here right next to our other field, and we're going to come over just one spot from that and start setting up our fencing. Now, I'm going to do a pretty big field to start. Whoops, maybe not that big, maybe a little less big than that, so that we have plenty of room to grow, because we do want to continue to raise more and more bees as we can. So let's come over to about here. And we're going to give ourselves one little gap there because this is where I think we're going to put our gate in, right here. And this is where our pit kilns and everything were before. All that's going to need to be cleared out here at some point in the near future. All right, let's start with this. And I think what we want to do is come over this far. I think that's far enough. And I think we can put our skep down on top of that in theory. So let's see here. Can I put this on here? I can. Perfect. Okay. Now there's no flowers nearby yet, so you're going to see that it doesn't want to grow and expand. But we can go over here to our box and grab up any of these flowers. Now we have a lot of red top grass, so why don't we just start there? So I'm just going to fill this up in this area with all of this red top grass. And that's going to make these bees want to spread and grow. Okay, so 1, 2, and actually this piece needs to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and put down a few more pieces of fence to lay out where all of the rest of my skeps will go as we are growing this. So I'm just going over 2 blocks in each case, and it looks like this is going to be close to this wall here, so I'm just going to leave that there. Like that. And I think maybe we just start with this many, with the 6, because I'm running out of fence posts. Let's see how far I can take this. I might be able to close this in. Maybe we do one more row. Just like that, and just like that. Okay. And now let's see if we can close this in real quick. Okay, so that's the basic layout, but why don't we go ahead and clean this up a little bit? I'm also realizing that this, we actually want to put down here. What is it? Control 3? There we go. Okay. In the middle. Whoop. There we go. Because now it should populate all of the skeps that we put around it. To that end, we need to go grab our clay so that we can make a bunch more of these skeps. I think we have whole lot of clay just sitting in here waiting for us. Yeah, we do. Okay, great. Probably not going to need all of that. So I think that we make skeps by putting the clay in the bottom, and then we put the reeds, the cattails around it. Is that right? There we go. Okay. So, oh, looks like it won't let us pick up that many of them. So let's go ahead and put these down that we've got, and then we will go grab up the ones we accidentally just dropped on the ground. Just like that. Oh, there's another horse. Oh, friend. We may have made a mistake here because we have lots and lots of horses now, which might be too many horses. So I'm just going to go ahead and feed some of these that are hanging out around the farm and hopefully get these tamed reasonably. There we go. So that's 10%. And I think once they get to 50%, we can ride them. That's why I got the other two tamed. So these are both Arabians, which is real cool. So hopefully if I keep feeding them, they'll keep coming back. Okay, there we go. All of our skips have been put in place. So now that we have those, it's time to start adding more flowers. So I'm going to go a little bit more wild here and just put down some catmint everywhere. And I think I'm going to actually remove some of this red top so that I can have more room for catmint. And you know what? Actually, we have all of this other stuff. So cow parsley, woad. Let's just go a little nuts on it. Now I know that these can be used for dye, the woad can if I remember correctly, so we do want to have that around anyway. But if we can use it to help raise the bees, then why not? That seems like a good use to me. Some cow parsley in here. We're just going to mix it up a little bit. Okay, so amazingly, we've actually already had our population split to this one, so that's pretty good. Now what I can't figure out is why this is saying nearby flowers 27, and this one says nearby flowers 47. I wonder if one of these things I've laid down does not count as a flower, even though it says it's a flower. Well, all of these are saying flowers, so I'm going to assume that that's right, but this one, 47 flowers, should have less flowers than this one, 27 flowers. I don't know why that calculation is going wonky. Anyway, that's good news though. The population size is poor on both of these. Neither of these are ready to be harvested, but at least we know for now that we are getting our bees growing and splitting, and that is a good sign. So those populations will continue to grow over time until this whole meadow is filled. Okay, and so there is our beautiful finished bee colony. Oh, and it looks like these are already spreading. Look how quickly those are spreading. So this one is saying it has 104 flowers nearby. I don't know why this calculation. These are all mostly spreading. That's amazing. That's way faster than I was expecting these to take. So it looks like these are going to continue to grow and expand. Wow, look at that. Okay, so we've got 4 already filled with bees. Wonderful. Now, I don't know what's going on with the flowers. If y'all know what's going on with the flowers and the count here, please drop into the comments, because I looked it up and I don't quite think I understand why only these on the corners are getting more flowers than the ones in the middle, which should have actually more flowers. So I don't know if it's a radius. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, let me know in the comments if you know what's going on here. But yeah, look how beautiful that is. That is a amazing little bee garden that we have now. Okay, so apparently once you get them up to 20%, you can indeed roughly ride them a bit. And maybe at 15%? Yeah, 15% even now they're letting me ride them. So I'm just collecting all of the horses into this corral for now. And it's getting a little overwhelmed. So maybe what we do is start building stables here pretty soon. Although to do that, first I'm going to need a lot more lumber. Okay, so next up in our crafting, I want to do some more bits of food preparation here. Now that we have a source of honey, you know, we have a little bit of honey laying around. So I think we might go ahead and make ourselves some jam. We have a lot of honeycomb we picked up through our various adventures, and I just need to figure out how to squeeze this out. I don't know what the actual recipe here is. Can I just put it over top? No, that's not going to work. Do I have to put it down first. Does this work? Let's see. There we go. We can just squeeze on top of it. Okay, that works pretty good. And let me try that again. Oh, we got 2 beeswax out of that. Let's put another one down here. There we go. And that is, let's see, 0.2 liters. And this is 0.4 liters. And this is how much? 1 liter. Okay, that's interesting. Can we combine those? No, it doesn't look like I can combine them here. Well, let's go ahead and see if we can't figure out the recipe for actually making jam based on this. So if I take my cooking pot here and put this down, I think if I take my honey, put this in here. Oh yeah, there we go. It lets us increase it by increments there. And now if we grab our fruit, I think we have some fruit that still hasn't gone bad. Oh, maybe all of our fruit did go bad. We've got a little bit of white currant left. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go and pick some berries real quick here. We have so many berries. I think we'll do a red currant jam because we have the most of that. So let's go ahead and snatch up all of these red currants. Lovely, lovely currants. Okay, there's a bunch of red currants in here. And we just need to figure out the proper recipe. I'm not sure how many we need for this recipe. Ah, red currant jelly. So that's with 0.2 liters. So if I keep adding to that, let's do 4 there, and we'll... we've got various amounts here. Let's do 4, 6 there. Okay, so that should be 3 servings, and this should be 4 servings all said and done, right? So if I do that, 4 servings of red currant jelly. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab up some firewood here, and we will add that to the fire. I think 2 should be plenty, maybe 3. And we'll light that up real fast. And there we go. This will cook into a jelly. We'll just need to keep an eye on this and make sure that is indeed enough firewood for it. And we're going to store that, I think, in a crock. So we will hold on to the crock here. Well, we'll come back for the crock. Now, while we're dealing with that, I also have a problem with alcohol. Well, not that kind of problem with alcohol. I have too much alcohol sitting here just in barrels, and it's not going to be fresh for very many more days. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make some bottles here, which I have from Culinary Artillery. And let's see if we can't use those to store this. I'm not sure how much goes in a bottle. Looks like 1 liter per bottle. Okay, there we go. Fresh for 1.3 years. Great. Okay, so let's make ourselves a whole bunch more bottles. And we're going to go ahead and store all of this wonderful, wonderful brandy, this wonderful Kosovo vodka, and the rest of this mead. So we're just using quartz glass, which we have plenty of here. And we are sawing that first into slabs. Oh, excuse me, we're splitting them into slabs, and then we're cutting them with the saw into bottles. Okay, it looks like those only stack up to 16. That's fine. So let's go ahead and grab up the rest of our vodka. Oh, and it looks like our jelly is done, so we can grab that up. And can we transfer that into a crock? No, other way around, right? We have to put down the bowl, grab this up in the crock, and now we can take the crock, and I think we can seal this with fat? Is that right? It might have to be wax. I don't remember. Let's see here. Does fat seal it? Yeah, it does. Okay, so that's going to last pretty much forever now. That is wonderful. So let's go ahead and set this down here. And now we have jelly. That's great. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to want to keep working on our honey production because that jelly is going to be very, very nice to have in the cold winter months. So we're going to build a bunch more crocks over time here and use that jelly. Okay, great. You know what, we should go ahead and cook some of our remaining meat here while we have the fire relatively hot as well. Maybe we go ahead and put a couple of more pieces of firewood on and cook up the rest of this remaining meat that we've got. Okay, great. So back to our bottling. We are going to have a lot of bottles. We might need to make some sort of a shelf here for bottles. Does this actually allow us to put bottles on it? Well, there's only one way to find out here, right? We do have enough leftover boards that we can experiment a little bit. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a shelf like that. And where do we want to put this? Let's see here, maybe up here. Let's put a shelf up there. And can we put these bottles on the shelf? Oh, we can. But not very many bottles go on a shelf. It looks like we can only fit 8 on one shelf, which is still twice the space, or excuse me, half as much space as they would be taking up otherwise. So maybe we should go ahead and make ourselves a few more shelves. That's going to be good to have. Wherever those just went. Okay. And let's go ahead and put these up. And we'll just fill these up with our various ingredients. Okay, and there we go. We have all of our various things stored. We've got our mead here, our cherry brandy, and our Kosovo vodka. So we are ready for a alcoholic winter. I think that we will be able to get through the cold winter nights with these nice warmers there. Looks like our food is about cooked as well. So we've got some not very especially well prepared meat here, but that'll certainly help us out a little bit here as the days ahead. We haven't been doing much pie cooking or anything lately, so we might need to get back into that. Okay, so the last thing that we are going to do today is start working on rebuilding our tree farm. Now, I cleared out most of this area for a tree farm earlier and just done bits and pieces. I hadn't really committed to really making this a proper tree farm the way that we had already with our pine trees over here. So this is our resin farm, if y'all don't remember. And these are just trees that are just there to grow resin for us. So anytime a tree grows, if it has resin on it, it stays. If it doesn't, we get rid of it. Now, this is only because we have that resin regrowth mod installed that allows us to do this. Otherwise, we couldn't get away with that. So right now, we are just trying to get as much resin as possible. Oh, and it looks like this one grew since I last have been here. Oh, that has resin too. Never mind. So what I do is I put these stones down around them so that I know that they have resin, number one, and number two, there's a gap in the side that has the resin on it. So it makes it really easy to harvest that resin. So we're going to do something really, really similar for the rest of our trees. Obviously, we don't care about the resin aspect in this field here. So everything kind of past this demarcation line here, I think, is going to become largely the area that we are going to use for our tree farm. Now, we probably are going to build some other things over here, but this kind of gives us a starting point for what we are going to want to do. So let's go ahead and start setting up a tree farm over here. Oh, you see that? There is a raccoon trying to get after my honey. You can't have my honey, raccoon. Go on. Run away. Not going to do anything to you, but ooh. Ooh. Population size large. Looks like all of these this has just been overnight, y'all. Like 2 days, and now we have huge, huge, huge amounts of bees. And the number of flowers it's counting is also huge. So all of these skeps are now full, and a lot of them are harvestable. That happened way, way faster than I would have expected. So, okay, we can go ahead and get a whole bunch more honey already. Okay, so with the other tree farm, one of the problems I ran into is that the trees are actually a little too close together for safety's sake. Now, I'm not going to harvest any of the resin that I find in this tree farm, even from my pine trees, but I do want to make it so that these are far enough apart that I can chop one down without it impacting the others too much. So to that end, we basically need these to be 6 blocks apart from each other. So I'm going to come up just a little bit here, let's say to here, and I'm going to start spacing these out. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So technically 5 blocks apart. I think that'll give us enough room to grow between these because most trees only go out 2 to 3 squares with their leaves. So I think that should be fine. At least I hope that should be fine. But I guess we'll find out pretty quick here. So that'll give us a nice, tidy little dense farm here. So let's put that there. And we're going to keep doing this. We're going to run down further this way. And the reason I put these up on blocks is it just makes it a little bit easier to know where these are supposed to go in the future when I cut them back down. I can't remember if I saw Hippie doing this or Kurazar. Somebody did this and I said, that looks like a really cool way of doing it. And I've been doing it ever since. So yeah, we're going to keep growing this tree farm out a little bit further here in this direction. And then we are going to start planting down our trees. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so there is our forest laid out and ready to be built. Now all we have to do is start planting the trees in it. So I think we're going to do a section of pine. We're definitely going to do a section of birch. And we've been doing a bunch of maple as well. I don't know if I want to plant larger or not, but I know I need oak because the oak is going to be used for our tannin production. So I think I'm going to start the oak over here on this end here. Let's do a few of them. I think I'm going to go ahead and use all of the oak that I have in hand. And eventually these will change as our needs change. We are going to be, for right now, doing this many. Oh, I guess I'm going to do one more row here. Or maybe I'll just hold on to one oak seed just in case, because sometimes we do run out. So that's 10 of them down. Now, next to that, maybe let's do a row of maple here. I think that'll be good. And then next to that, we are going to fill in our pine. Okay, so that's maple. And then the rest of this I'm going to make pine, because pine is actually one of the best trees we can grow. Pine has the advantage of growing very tall. And because it's very tall, that means that we get a lot of logs for very little work. And if you know me, you know I love very little work. So we're just going to put this up here. Okay, and there is our finished tree farm. I think that's looking pretty darn good. Well, y'all, our little homestead is really starting to come together now. I think this is starting to look like a real livable place. So I really like the progress we've made. We're making jam, we got honey coming in, we got forge, we've got all sorts of things. So I think we're going to call this the end of this episode. Thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.